Hey, it's Tuxedo Mark. It's 1:53 p.m. on Tuesday, October 5th, 2021, and this is my review of The Prisoner episode Fallout, the series finale. Okay. Um, some things that I should note before I get into that is all right. The episode was the last one filmed, obviously. Um, and it was filmed a year after part one of the finale, Once Upon a Time. Yeah, because of like production stuff. Once Upon a Time was kind of repurposed. Instead of being the season one finale, it was going to be part one of the series finale. But it was the sixth episode filmed, and this one was the 17th episode filmed, but it occurs immediately after. So, yeah, there's that. Hey, Lukey boy, thanks for joining me. So I watched the episode, and I read like some articles about it. I don't even know how to review this episode, but okay. Basically, number 6 is taken by the supervisor along with the butler down into like a cavernous region below the green dome of number 2's residence. It's like deep in the ground below the village. Okay. And there's even like, I keep getting them confused. The ones that hang from the ceiling. Are those stalactites or stalagmites? But anyway, so they end up in like some kind of courtroom or something. And there's a role known as the president. He wears a wig, kind of like a British judge. And there's the jury and various spectators. They're each sitting in front of a different sign, like that might say, like different words on different sides, like I guess representing different aspects of society or something like that. And all of the members of the jury are wearing these like white robes, and they got these hoods on them. Like I'm not really hoods, but like they have like these theatrical masks on them, so you can't see their faces. It's kind of creepy. Um, Number 6 is invited to sit in the throne, like the place of honor, and watch the proceedings. And and there's like a robotic eye or a mechanical like pole with an eye built into it, and it has a big red 1 on it. And the president is able to communicate with, number 1, whoever that is. Even though number 1 isn't talking to him, you see like flashes of light or something, but then the president seems to understand what's being said. So I don't know. But they should, let me see if I can go in order with this. He announces 6 has passed the ultimate test and won the right to be individual. But there are matters of ceremony involved in the transfer of ultimate power. So basically, they want him to take over running the village, or eventually he can leave. They give him cash, a passport, traveler's checks, all of this stuff, the key to his house back in London. He can go wherever he wants, or he can take over running the village. Spoiler, he chooses to leave. But anyway, first there's going to be like, the judge says they've got 3 examples of of like rebellion or something. So first up, someone named number two's body is brought in the cage that he had died in the previous episode. It's brought into the courtroom, and he is revived. He's like literally brought back to life, and then they start shaving him and giving him a makeover. And then suddenly he's alive again, and he's kind of ticked at them for reviving him. Like, he can't even escape in death. But the reason for this is that because this episode was filmed 1 year after the previous one, Leo McKern had changed his appearance, like cut his hair and got rid of his beard entirely because he was acting in a play at the time. So they try to explain it in the episode briefly. But number two goes second. The first example that they give is number 48, who's this wacky kid, or not a kid, but like a 20-something-year-old guy, I guess. He looks familiar to me. And it turns out it's the same actor that played the kid in that Western-themed episode, Living in Harmony. But you see, he died in the universe of the show, outside of the simulation. He died at the end of the episode. So this must be a different person, right? Anyway, he refuses to cooperate with the court, and he starts leading them in a rendition of Dem Bones. You know, that old folksy spiritual song? Yeah. And then you hear a recording of it by a group called the Four Lads, and it recurs throughout the episode. But before that, before they get to a courtroom, the cavern, the cave, like the hallway leading up to it, has a bunch of jukeboxes built into the wall, and some various popular records of the time are sitting there, and you hear "All You Need Is Love" by the Beatles. Okay, I don't know what the significance is, but anyway. So after a lot of singing and everything, the next example of rebellion given is number 2, and I'm trying to remember what number 2 reveals he was abducted by the village, or to the village, and he spits at the mechanical eye in defiance, and then both number 48, which is that first guy, and number 2 are taken away. And then the president presents number 6 as the third form of revolt, but in a good way, because this is where he's offered, you can go wherever you want, we'll give you all of this stuff, or take over and lead us. And they want him to address the assembly. So number 6 puts his passport and traveler's checks in his jacket. By the way, they gave him back his old suit from when he arrived at the village. So he goes to the podium, and every time that he starts to speak, they interrupt him with like shouting and banging. So he tries to talk, but most of what he's saying is drowned out, and you just can't hear what he's saying. I wonder if the script has it. I'm not sure. But anyway. 6 is then taken by the butler to go to meet number 1, and he goes up this winding staircase into a small room with a bunch of globes sitting around in it. Okay. And he sees someone with a hooded figure with a 1 on it. He's wearing like a robe or something. And and a mask. So number 6 takes the mask off and finds a gorilla mask underneath. Okay, so he pulls that off to reveal who number 1 actually is. And you all ready for this? It's number 6. Like he's literally staring at himself. Okay. And then when number 6 goes back down the stairs, he decides, hey, we're going to gun everyone down and make an escape. But first what he does is he realizes the area that he's in is a rocket, so he sets it to launch. And then the president is like, oh, crap, and he orders an evacuation of the village. So then, after a big, gunfight and everything, it turns out that the cage, number 6 frees number 2 and number 48. They make their way to the cage from that was brought into the courtroom. It's mobile, remember? And it turns out that it's sitting on the bed of a truck. So the butler gets into the cab and he drives them off. We see a bunch of helicopters taking off from the village. There's also some shots of some people just sitting there relaxing as normal, but, whatever. I don't know if the village was destroyed. Maybe, kind of. Rover is destroyed. We see that it deflates when the rocket takes off. Like the heat burns it. During this song, during the sequence, a song called I Like You Very Much plays, which is kind of silly. So then we see, the truck going along, and it turns out, at least from an implication from a street sign that they pass, is that the village was only about 27 kilometers from London, which doesn't make any sense. I mean, it was pinpointed to be like north of Morocco and south of Portugal back in Many Happy Returns. Either Patrick McGoohan forgot about that detail or he didn't care. By the way, he wrote and directed both of these last 2 episodes. And I'm not. So they arrive in London, and then, first out they drop off number 48, who decides to hitchhike, and then they drop off. The police stop the truck outside Westminster Palace. Number 2 goes inside. I guess presumably to take care of the situation or inform whoever might be in charge of what has happened. Who knows? The butler, before that, number 6 has to talk to a police officer who's questioning him. We see everything from the butler's perspective. The butler's at the forefront and number 6 and the cop are all the way in the background. You don't hear what they're saying. Which, by the way, as soon as number 6 is drowned out by all the people at the trial when he's trying to address them, that's the last time that we hear him speak in the episode and the series as a whole. He just does not speak for the rest of the episode. In fact, he has very little dialogue in this episode overall. Probably make up for the very large amount of dialogue that he had in the previous episode. But anyway, the butler escorts number 6 back to his house, which is at 1 what was this address? One Buckingham or something like that. I don't know, but he has number one on his front door, which symbolism theory. He's the new number one. He's been number one all along. Whatever. I don't know. Um, Also, the car's ready, his old car, so he gets in to drive off, and the butler goes into number six's house. I guess he's going to serve him from now on. The thing is, the front door opens like the doors in the village, the automatic opening door. So why'd they give him a key to his house if he doesn't have to use it? And I don't get it. I would be very suspicious of this, except we also saw back in Many Happy Returns that there was an automatic door in his house in that episode too. It wasn't the front door, but is it a sign that he can never escape the village and he's always a prisoner? Maybe, who knows? But then again, he kind of realized that at the end of Many Happy Returns anyway, so that wouldn't exactly be new information. So then we see, I think I read that we see number two entering Kensington or Westminster Palace again. And like briefly, like in a different suit. So I don't know, maybe he works there or something. I don't know. And then we see number six driving off. We hear a lightning crash, and we see the footage of him driving from the very first episode of the series. They're just recycling it and showing it at the end of the series. So what does that mean? Does that mean that the cycle, like he's trapped in a cycle and he's going to become a prisoner again? Who knows? Who knows with anything in this episode? From what I read, Patrick McGoohan deliberately wrote this episode in a way to not answer any questions. But okay, so from the various theories that I've read, number six is number one, and he's testing them. I don't see it personally. Number six is being interviewed to be number one. Maybe that seems to be the job that they're offering him in this episode. The number one is a clone of number six, or number one is John Drake from Danger Man, or number one is Patrick McGoohan himself, like the actor. Who knows? There's the theory that number six, when he was gassed in the opening theme, that he is slowly dying, and this entire series has been his hallucination, or that he was killed right away, and the entire series is him in hell or purgatory or even Sheol. If you don't know what Sheol is, it's kind of an early Jewish version of the afterlife where everyone got sent regardless of how they lived their lives or anything. Everyone got sent to Sheol, and it wasn't really much of anything. You just kind of exist, but you don't exist, and nothing ever happens. So I don't know if this is supposed to be Sheol, because a lot of stuff is happening. But maybe it's like a purgatory or hell. But personally, I believe that it all actually happened. He's not dead or hallucinating or anything like that. But, he might be surveilled for the rest of his life. Just because he escaped doesn't mean it's over. But, a hearse, like the one from the first episode, passes by him when they're outside his flat at the end of near the end of the episode. So that could be taken as a sign that he's already being watched again, and he might be kidnapped again, or maybe not. Who knows? But there is one suggested viewing order where you watch the first episode after the last one. I don't know. But okay, I'm not sure what else to say about this episode. He's free, supposedly. Yeah. So I enjoyed watching this series. I don't understand what everything means in it. But it was fun to watch, and I know there are like novels and comic books, but I'm not really interested in any of that extra material. I just wanted to watch the original series. I might watch the remake from 2009. We'll see. Other than that, yeah, I think that's it. All right, so thanks for joining me, and it's 2:16 p.m. and that's it. Thanks for watching.